Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Good day.
Some fun things. I think to me it was fun. I went on a trip this weekend. I went to a conference for our region conference for organization that I'm in. And when you ask the universe for signier signs, they send you a sign and you're like, oh, I need a signier sign than that. Man, they were everywhere this weekend. It was so wild. It was so fun. I see 444 a lot. My room was 443. So every day from Friday to Sunday, every time I went in and out of my room across the hallway was 444. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So you reduce in numerology down to one number from 1 to 9. And so 3 is significant in my life path numbers in numerology. Our organization, it was celebrating on May 20th. We had our 75th anniversary of our club being from the time it began, so in 1950. And so at this conference we wore crowns that said 75 and fabulous. So 7 plus 5 is 12, plus 1 plus 2 is 3. So there's a 3. And then we have assigned tables for each meal. So you have it's on your card, your dinner and lunch cards, what table you're assigned to. And it starts on Thursday or Friday. Starts like Friday morning. Well, I didn't get there till Friday evening. And so out of 3 meals, 2 of my meals was at table 12. And so it was just like that all weekend, just this number that came up to 3, right? So anyway, that was fun. I just wanted to share that because I thought that was exciting. I got my signier signs, and I did have a couple times over the weekend like a deja vu moment. And it's funny because I'll do something and I might be in the middle of saying something and then go in my head think I've already done this, and I have to pause. And then I'll keep going with the conversation or whatever I'm doing. But I had a couple of those before I left for the conference, and then a couple times while I was there, and it was like, okay. And to me, just to put it out there, I read this in a Sylvia Brown book many years ago, that when you have a deja vu moment, it's that you're on the path of what your spirit came to do. And so I might be on the path for now, and then I might get sidetracked and veer off. But then when I come back, I'll have a deja vu moment to be like, oh, okay, I'm back. And we're going to walk this path for a while until I get distracted again. Or I wander off and some other whatever comes up. So
I think that's awesome. You talked about all the numbers and stuff, and I've had 444. I mean, I have a notebook that I journal in almost every day, and I really just go with whatever I see. Well, I'm getting messages all day long. In fact, whether it's a message that I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I hear a song, or I'm getting the numbers 444 or 1414, like all these things. It's like there's a lot of repetitiveness that's going on, and it's because they're trying to get messages to you.
yeah,
They're not trying to, they're sending out messages all the time. And it's up to us to kind of look at them and figure out what it means to us. And I'll see things that like kind of it shows itself over and over and over again. So that I know those are messages and I'm having an understanding about that. But that's kind of fun because it makes life a little bit exciting in it. And so I'll stop and jot down. Maybe I saw a peregrine falcon, or maybe I saw, like the other day, I saw 2 horned toads, having a conversation. I was driving to work like the Friday, and I driving past this bush outside, and there was probably like 15 or 20 freaking ravens underneath the bush. They weren't eating anything. And I sent a message to my girls and I said, I think I just passed the board meeting. And then my daughter said they do actually come together like that and communicate, and then they go off and do whatever. So I thought it was pretty fascinating because I really felt like I was passing a meeting. There was a meeting of the minds that was happening there, which I find is fantastic. But it's like all this information that we have around us all the time, even down to the bugs. Like we've had wildfire tigers, and I haven't looked up the message yet, but we had quite a few. But it's like being aware of all that stuff, the snakes or the whatever is coming into your experience, because it wasn't an accident. Everything was there for a reason. Everything showed up just like we showed up, but are we aware of it? And like even recently, songs like a miracle, miracles on miracles, so many miracles I can't count. I have to look at I have to sing the song, and I'm not singing the song, but it's along those words. And even just like this today, Jesus is asking me to come to the altar or whatever. That was the song that was in my head this morning. So it's like being aware of the information that's flowing to us at all times, because those are the miracles. That that is the that is the path. Like it's a constant guidance that's there. And I can tell you when I get wrapped up in my emotions and stuff, maybe I don't always I can't I really can only at that time just deal with whatever I'm feeling in the moment, and then questioning it and being like, what the hell, or or how can I get past this, or just sitting and crying, just sitting and crying, just sitting and feeling feeling that emotion in the body. Okay, so I feel like crying. Where is that coming from? You're like feeling it in the body where it's at, and then just letting it be, just letting it release. It's like we don't have to. We get so caught up in thinking we have to do something all the time. We have to fix something. And that's a big learning process too. Well, it's not even a learning process. I feel like I'm just shedding a lot of stuff. I know I'm so much more mellow, and I'm not even I just don't, I'm not even my same person that I used to be. And that's okay. It's okay because I'm figuring out who I am minus all the other stuff, minus all the expectations and the wants and everybody else's desires. Because a lot of times I'd want what somebody else wanted. And it's like, didn't make sense, but it's because I was connected into them with what they were getting, and it seems like maybe that felt like satisfaction to them, but it doesn't mean it necessarily was, and it doesn't mean it would be satisfying to myself either. So there's just so much stuff that's happening that for me to process and kind of look at, and I know that I'm feeling all this stuff because there's other people out there that are struggling too. They're out, and it has felt like a struggle at times. It really has. And then all of a sudden it lifts and it's like, oh, well, this feels great. And I have a few hours, or maybe I might have a few minutes, or maybe I have a few days that it feels light and uplifting. And then I might be back into it again. And it's okay. Because I have a lifelong of stored emotions. I really do. Just you've talked about it before, but our only emotion that we had was anger. That was, that was it. And when you said in the past video, when you said it's grieving of self, it is grieving, because it is grieving. I'm not that same person anymore. I don't feel those same emotions. And it was all facilitated by a person that was no longer going to be in my life. And then in hindsight, now I look at things, and it's like even our 12-month spread we always do. And even for this month, one of the names up in the corner was Grace. And I thought, I knew who that was. I knew that this person was coming into my life, and the other person, then I had an understanding why the other person left, because I needed a new guide. I needed a new teacher, new confirmations. It's a new energy and new flow. It's a different direction. And it's not bad at all. It's actually even better. But we get so wrapped up in gripping on to whatever is there in front of us that we actually can lose sight of what's coming to us, instead of, you know what I mean? When we're holding on to something so tightly, we don't get to see what's coming our way. And so I've let go. I let go completely, cut cords and have shifted my energy, and I feel good. And then also recognizing codependency and relationships, honestly. And that's would be from childhood, because I was not a person that had a lot of friends. I didn't. I had people I hung out with. I partied with a lot of people, but I can tell you right now, I don't know any of those people. I don't hang around those people. I don't even know if any of them are alive anymore. Because a lot of them passed away over time. So it's kind of it's an interesting journey to go on in this space. And it's funny, if I would have known when I was the kid, keeping myself still protected, I probably would maybe shifted a little bit earlier, honestly. Maybe. I don't know. It's all divine timing, but when you think about that with hindsight, right? I think my life could have been so much better. I was keeping myself in places that really weren't beneficial for my soul, but it was beneficial for my 3D growth, for my ego growth, for understanding, because I didn't have that understanding as a child. And so it's like Freeman told me just recently, it's like I've been born again. And so now I'm learning all these I'm learning how to walk again. I'm learning how to communicate. And I'm learning how to experience emotions. And I'm learning all these things are like brand new to me. Everything's brand new.
Yeah. And you, in the last video we just did, you talked about snakes, and this time you've talked about seeing snakes, and then later you said something about shedding the old, that which is what snakes do. And it
Yes.
reminded me that this is, for the Chinese year, this is the year of the snake, and it is also the year of numerologically number 9. So 2025, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. So it's the end of a cycle. It's the end of it's wrapping up any loose ends, wrapping up unfinished business, and taking care of that. So then we can go into the next year refreshed and starting anew. So next year, 2026, will be a 1, which is new beginnings. And so a lot of people are probably feeling what you're feeling, as far as shedding the old, shedding the skin, shedding, like ready for that rebirth, which is what the snake does when it's coming out of that old shell of the skin. And the death, so 9, like death, it's the death to the old, it's the end of the cycle, it's whatever that looks like. And as we talked about in the previous video, the death of the ego. And so there's a lot still. It's been happening since the end of 2019, and then amped up in 2020. But since then, it's just this constant heightened amount of energy, with different things happening around the world, different changes happening, different shifts, different people, different people of power, just all the things. And we're sensitive to that. And when we look at the snake and just shedding and the 9 year, and then you look at what's going on around the world, it's like, oh, kind of get it. Like it all kind of, in a sense, makes sense. We can't completely wrap our head around the things that are happening and why they're doing what they're doing and all the things, but just thinking about the symbolic symbolism of the 9 and the snake and the shedding and all that. So, and if you've decided to be on that journey of personal development or spiritual awakening, or just ready to shift something in yourself, then yeah, you're going to be even more emotional, most likely, not only because of your own experience, but also with that amount of heightened energy that's happening right now, or has been happening actually.
Yeah.
And you got to
And
figure, I'm sorry, you got to figure also that in all of that that's happening around the world, right? All the things that are happening, that the earth is shifting too energetically. And we are energy, and we're going to feel that also. So there's just a lot happening that we're feeling. And then you add that transformation for yourself, and it's like, the hell kind of ride did I decide to get on?
And it's even letting go of the karmic stuff, right? It's not letting go of it. It's recognizing and learning from the karmic stuff. Because I've had experiences come up, and it's like it was like a domino effect. I had that one person leave, and then I was like telling my group, like, "Hey, group's done." And it's like then I pulled group together and ask them. I say, "Hey, let's get together one last time for now," because I didn't even know I was going to be going through all this, but I didn't have any more to give anyways. I couldn't have done group. Could it have benefited me in some ways? Yeah, but I needed to be where I'm at right now. And it's like, I said, how did you guys feel when I said that to you? And one of the girls says, I felt like you punched me in the stomach. And I thought, that's how I felt. But I thought my feeling wasn't valid. I did. So she kind of validated my feelings. But with all that happening, now one of the persons that was following a certain path, she's actually done the schooling, doing the stuff on the weekends to further her education and go do it. And the other one's doing, it's like, and then I'm going through my processes and stuff. It's like, it's so in that instant, you don't know, but I found out karmically, so I bring up the karma stuff because I felt it. And then in turn, it's like I've got one of my kids that are going to be going off to Hawaii at the end of June and a portion of July, a big portion of the beginning. I think they'll be gone for 9 days. But it's like, so we'll have the kids and, trying to figure out all that. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay the night, because then I was going through so much here and I needed this structure of home and the safety of home in a lot of ways. And then I was like backing out of that. And then that ricocheted down, and then I'm affecting someone else kind of the same way that I was affected. So it's being aware of how the decisions and the words that we use and the decisions we make do have effect on other people. So it's like now I'm learning from all that. How can I better show up? How can I have these conversations? How can I be the best partner that I can possibly? How could I be the best grandmother? But how can I show up, for my kids and for their partners and for all that stuff? It's like there's such a bigger picture. How can I show up for the people that come to see me? And it's really been a lot of a process to look at a lot of this stuff, and then to feel that, to be in that space and recognize immediately that, oh, this is exactly how that person felt. Where I even reached out to other people because I had closed off the group from a lot of other people earlier on and made it minimal because I was guided by spirit. I mean, that's what I was told to stop. And then I was told 2 people, and that's exactly what I did. And then it got me all the way to this moment. So it's like, I'll go back to the same thing. It's not holding on to things. Don't hold on to things. Know that everything's constantly changing, because that's what it's supposed to do. Because I've wanted change. I have wanted this change. And so now I'm going through the process of what this change looks like. And then we'll see what it looks like once I go through a, a lot of this. I would say some of it's heavy and dense, you know, but it's okay. I feel I feel grounded. Even when I burned today, when I went out today, which ironically were around the full moon, right? It's like, of course, this is coming up to the head like this, but I went out there and I burned it. I took off my shoes. I put my feet in the dirt. I made sure I had my hair all braided up in a bun on top of my head, all wrapped. And it's like I took it all the way down because I wanted to clear. I didn't want to hold on to anything. I want to let go of everything because it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me any longer. And I embrace whatever or however I'm going to be in the future. But I just know that my higher self will be guiding the show a little bit more than than the ego, Bev.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kudos to you, sister, for going through that. And it's the again, as we talked in the previous recording, was about the ego. It's the ego, the two-year-old temper tantrum saying, don't leave me, don't let me go,
Yeah,
hang on to me, you need me, I need you, right?
yeah,
And learning to not be in that space as often, to be in that more loving, kind, compassionate space for yourself first and foremost, absolute first and foremost. um, and it's a learning process if you've not been in that space for, like, you've lived in the ego space for your entire life or most of your life, and that desire to change something, like the internal is asking for a change, but the ego doesn't want you to change, can't handle that.
yeah.
So that temper tantrum comes out of, don't leave me, give me what I want, right?
Yeah. Well, and knowing that it was never about me in the first place. That
Yeah,
was never about me, but it facilitated my growth.
right.
It really did. And then also recognizing, if people look in Kundalini, I'm also having a Kundalini rising at the same time. So I think it's all interconnected because I've had just things that have happened for me, and I know where I'm at. I'm in the lower chakras right now, and this is what it's clearing out and purging, honestly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my individual journey that I feel that it's going on. If anyone else feels they resonate with that, they can do their own research on a lot of that information. But
Right. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because we have to wrap this up, but I just wanted to hit upon the idea of when you're saying that you're wanting to show up better for other people. Sometimes that looks like pulling back and focusing on you and regrouping and rejuvenating yourself, so then you can show up better for other people. And on the another point to that is that when you said you had to let the people know that I'm stopping group, and when you asked them how they felt about that, it's their reaction, and that's on them of to discover why did I feel that way. And it probably has to do with abandonment, rejection, and things like that based on their experience. And at the same time, you're not responsible for their reaction.
yeah,
Maybe they needed that reaction so that they could go, oh, so like for me, for instance, I would look at that and go, wow, I was really triggered by this. Why did I feel like I got a gut punch? And I would explore that. And the reason I already said was abandonment and rejection would be because I would have felt like you abandoned me or you're rejecting me. And that's
yeah,
my internal programming from childhood based on abandonment of my biological father and abuse by two stepdads, right? And so that would just be another way for that stuff to come up for me to look at it and go, oh, okay, I recognize that's still in me. Now I can let this go. And thank you so much now, Bev, for the experience, because it helped me heal another freaking layer that I thought I had done all the work on, but no, it's still in there. And now it came up again. And because you said no more group, I had this reaction. Like it's just, now it's a blessing that you said no more group.
yeah, 100%. 100%. And
It was so worth it.
it was so worth it. Everything had its benefit. Honestly, everything had its benefit for all of our growth. The way that it went, the way that it finished, the
Yeah.
way that where we're at right now, everything was a blessing. So, and that also reassures me that no matter what I'm going through right now, it's a blessing. It is,
Yeah.
because I'm going to be surprised and delighted by the person that's on the other side of this.
And the trust and the faith, again, we can't, there's so many directions we could go with the conversation we've had, and we could spend hours having but trust and faith, it's happening for a reason. And even though I have even recently have lost that, not lost it, but am being reminded of, how's that, I'm being reminded of, it's happening for a reason, it's happening for a reason, it's okay, it's happening for a reason. Let's just flow through this and see what happens on the other side. Stop getting all balled up about it. Let it flow. Let it unfold. Stop controlling it. Even though you can't control it, you think you can, but you can't. But it's happening for a reason, and let's just see what happens. And I have had memory loss on that trust and faith, and now I'm coming back to it. And it's been very in my face over the past week. So I'm too am being reminded. So
yep. I'm on my lotus flower and I'm floating down the river right now. So
yeah. The lotus flower that started in the mud has now blossomed into this amazing thing, and I'm floating on it like a little fairy.
That's right. I love it.
Hi, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. You can find us on many platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict. I don't know. There's more. But be resourceful. Share the information with your friends and family. There are other people looking for this content, for this information, whether it's from us or anybody else who you listen to where the information resonates with you. please share it. Doesn't mean you have to have the conversation, but just say, hey, I know where you can get some of this information from, and share it. So it could be a book, it could be a podcast, could be a teacher. So be resourceful and help other people on their spiritual or personal development journeys, spiritual journeys, however you want to label it. Any final words?
I was just gonna say, enjoy your beautiful journey, and now, as I was thinking that, you were saying journey at the same time, so I thought that's hilarious. So there we are.
Got it. I got you. I got you covered.
You got me.
All right, my friends. Thanks for hanging out. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We'll see you next time.
Bye.